Court of Owls was great. You know, I read that stuff, and Death in the Family, Death of the Family.
Death of the Family.
Where he cuts his face off.
Oh God.
Joker cuts his face off.
I
have that
barely remember
mask.
that.
I got that mask,
Holy
and then I wore
crap.
it, and I scared the shit out of people. Like at 3 in the morning, and my dad was gonna.
I can't imagine you during Halloween.
Oh,
only
I'm a handful.
Dressing up like as the Joker
Yeah.
and then going around doing the voice and everything else. Like if you as a kid would stop by my house and be like, okay, you know what? Just here's all the candy. Just
The funny thing is, though, I've never had an American Halloween.
Really?
Halloween is not a thing where I've been, Australia, New Zealand, Holland. It doesn't really exist. So I've never had the full Halloween experience where it's like, wow, you know, it's never been. Cyprus, because we went to an American school, and that's kind of where I got the accent from. Because my accent has shifted a lot of times as well, as many times as I moved. So they had, you know, but Cyprus, we had a school and my classroom had 7 kids in it.
Oh wow.
It's tiny. Like
Wow.
Like there's more people in your office than in that entire school.
Holy crap.
And that was my school experience. So we had like a tiny little a tiny little Halloween, and I dressed up as Qui-Gon Jinn. And my mom made like the wig, and then we drew on the beard, and I had a karate suit, and we dyed it brown. And then I made a lightsaber out of a broom handle, and I painted it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I got like best outfit, but the competition was between like 3 other kids, so it's not that.
Well,
And I went as Darth Maul, and I spiked it, and my mom painted my face, and it was, and I put boot polish on my teeth, and everyone was like, "Holy crap!" So I was just like walking around like that.
That is amazing.
So like I do love it, but I haven't had like the full experience yet, and I'm hoping that.
So that's what you want to have while you're over in the States right now.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So everybody, we'll make sure to see him in Halloween soon. If he pops up near your house, don't be alarmed.
I will most likely be going as Jack Nicholson in The Shining, because I've got a custom-made jacket and I've got the entire outfit. So I just need a rubber axe, and then slick the hair, and then just talk like this the entire evening.
Oh
and
my
just
God!
Scare that would be
Well,
amazing. I
what-
want to like go here and limp through the hallways. Daddy, I'm coming. You know, that'd be awesome.
I'm just trying to go to the kitchen. I just want to get some water. Well, no. The funny thing is, here at Telltale, we actually have a costume party where like best costume will get like a prize and stuff like that.
I would. Mine might not be the best, but it'd be the most accurate. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Is we actually one of our animators, Jeff, he actually won for looking like Bruce Willis from Die Hard.
Oh, cool.
So, you know, he had a little bit of blood. He got the he had the tank top.
I put the blood here where he gets hit in the head with the
So
bat.
I'm telling you, man, if you did that, and then the way you can
Because I have an
your
obsessive attention
could
to
do it.
detail with that film, so I know like I've got the boots that he wears, you know, those yellow Timberlands,
yes,
and I just clomp around in those.
Oh my! I would love nothing more than to have you here for our
That'd be
Halloween
fun.
party.
That'd
That would
be
be
awesome.
hilarious.
After a couple of drinks, though, I'd start to get a little too into character.
Where's Anthony?
And
He's just threatening the people in the bathroom again.
I never do anything to hurt you. Never. Yeah, I think I would go a little overboard if I was to do Jack Nicholson for The Shining for Halloween. I think I'd forget that it was a party, and I think I'd get a little too into it. And I would probably, with my stunt axe, be chasing Ryan through the hallways. Yeah. I wish we could stay here forever and ever and ever. I never do anything to hurt you. Never.
He wants to do what now? Just see people just kind of like slowly.
Just like freaking out. You having a good time? Yeah, I love it here. I like this.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Do you know? Not a lot of people know that.
I
You
like
know
that.
that Peter Sellers made that up. That wasn't actually a quote from Michael Caine.
Really?
Yeah, like Peter Sellers did an interview doing his impression of Michael Caine.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes, he called me up one time and he said, do you know, there are like some random trivia, not a lot of people know that. And then it just took off. And then that became his quote.
Yeah, I will admit, when I was a kid, for me, the movies and the actor that I watched probably the most when I was a kid was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You know, just all his impersonations and everything that he would do, everything else. So yeah, you were talking about Riddler and whatnot. Oh my God, he was just. He took a lot of joy in being able to. Once again, whenever you get an actor, just like go ham, do whatever the heck you want, and just unleash the beast. So have you had a chance yet so far in the booth yet to unleash your beast, or has it been?
Yeah. I mean, when he has those outbursts, that's a lot of fun. That's letting out that stuff, and that's a lot of fun. But most of it, about 80%, has been sort of dialed back and stuff because he's still John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say it's nice when an artist, they can take it to that level.
Yeah.
And so then I think it's far easier to take it to that level and then dial back than be dialed back and then
push. Then they usually, the thing is, like, they usually ask me to reel it back, whereas like if it was the opposite where they had to push me, like it would be harder. But like my default state is that really, that
it must sound like you're the Hulk, like just I'm always
angry. Yeah. No. But with this character, that's like the default way that I read it. But
so that was another thing that we talked briefly off camera that I would love to actually talk about here with the fans, is that you had a great insight into the different Jokers and like where their base is.
Yeah.
And then so could you talk briefly of like, so there's other Jokers and then where yours went with that base?
Yeah. Well, I sort of being such a big fan and just analyzing everything, I sort of had an idea of what each actor brought originally to their role, like aside from the voice, and the laugh, like everyone has their own laugh, was that Mark's Joker was very took a lot of joy in everything. Like and you can hear it in the voice. Everything's fun and and the laugh is
it's very
it's very theatrical and he's a showman and stuff. And then Jack was more closer to what I'm doing, I think, in that he was more of a confident guy.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, he would own the room. He's Jack,
Yeah.
So
Jack always owns the room.
So he was less like grand and stuff. Like there were moments like when he dances and to Prince and on the thing, but he always knew what he was doing and he was very smart.
Yeah.
Like he was a genius level IQ, and they touched about that, like when Michael Keaton's reading his records, aptitudes in science, chemistry, and art, and then so he makes all this shit. So he was very, he was very charming and very intelligent, and that was what he brought. That sort of like very self-assured, and then Heath took it to another very dark place where he would get in your face.
Yeah.
So Jack was always back here, like very confident, but then Heath was, oh, you look nervous. Is it the scars? Like, and he grabbed people.
Yeah.
Like everyone he talks to, he grabs.
And he had that hunched.
And he had this hunched over like this ghoul.
Yeah.
Like this zombie. Like he looked almost like he was sick. Like his hair was greasy and his face, like the makeup was always like smeared.
Yeah.
And he had like this sort of posture, and the way he used his hands, was very strange, and it was just sort of a weird creature. It was almost like not even human.
It's almost like the problems that he had internally were
so apparent. That's what I saw. So I sort of figured that my Joker, the way I read it, especially with all the outbursts, like he gets angry so easily. So I figured this guy is just full of anger and like everything frustrates him. Like he loses the remote control.
Yeah.
And like, oh, the orderlies has it. Hey, you're in my chair. Get up! Like he's just so quick, like he's a powder keg.
Yeah.
And so he would wear that on the inside, but then he would project this persona of a confident, charming guy.
Yeah.
With the doctor and with Bruce, but inside, like the smallest thing sets him off, and then
it's just like he's bottled up.
Yeah, he's bottled up, and he's just full of anger, and so that's really how I approached it. Instead of playing him as the showman and who's delighting in what he's doing it just because he's got real bad rage issues, and he still finds it funny.
Yeah.
But he's finding it funny more because I think he's able to get away with it.
Yeah.
Like in the asylum, he was having an amazing time because he was running the place, and he knows he's messed up, right? But but he's fooling everybody, and so that was fun to play.
So with that kind of, it sounds like you have really already, even before we've gotten to really kind of unleash the character, you have a lot of multi-layers already in your mind.
Yeah, I think a lot about what they're doing with him, also about his origin, because I didn't know that he would look the way he did in episode 4. I thought he was going to be, like they would hint at it, like he was going to have like brown hair and kind of pale. So I didn't know that he would already look fluorescent green and with that huge grin.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like, what? Like I wasn't sure if he'd already fallen in the vat or he was going to do the smile himself. Like I had this.
Or if even he fell into a vat.
Yeah, like if he fell in the vat, or it was going to be like Heath, where it was self done.
Yeah.
But now I think they're doing a bit in the middle, I guess. Like I don't know. Like I would.
Even I'm not privy to that little nugget of information. But it is interesting because it's kind of funny once again because these characters have been told so many times that sometimes even their origin stories are a little
it's cool because I think if they'd done the killing joke, that would have been a bad idea because it's been done brilliantly already.
Yeah.
And they want to do everything differently.
So how have you liked Telltale's take on kind of flipping flipping what we know here and there on its heads and trying to
I do respect it a lot just because they're really and that's it's so ironic coming from me being an impressionist is that you want to do things original, like Telltale really want to do their own universe. This doesn't tie in with established canon.
Yeah.
And once I got into that mindset, I'm like, okay, and then it leads to, because what's the point of seeing another people tell the same story over and over and over again?
Another origin story.
Another origin thing, and rather be like, wow, oh, that's what they're doing, it's interesting because this character is 70 years old, and he's been done a lot and brilliantly, but it's important to, if you're going to attempt it, to try to bring something new to the table, and that's really exciting. But it is also scary because people don't like change, and if you, I always think of the nerd from Simpsons, like worst episode ever, like anything that's different, they're like, oh my god, that's different.
Yeah.
But really, it's like, well, then what's the point of doing it?
Yeah. You definitely. It is something. I think it's also something to do with nostalgia. I
understand that. Yeah, there is the
change.
nostalgia, but then you have the. We're not taking away anything.
No,
we're giving people like a new thing.
You're trying to add to it.
If we were going back to Mask the Phantasm, like withdrawing all the copies and then changing everything so that was gone.
Yeah.
Then be angry. But this is just like a new thing, and it's cool because I love. It's called Elseworlds, and that is like they've done that a lot with Batman and Superman as well. They did Superman Red Sun, where he landed in Russia and he became a communist and he became president of Russia, and I thought that was amazing. And Batman was
kind of like Frank Miller's take on things.
Yeah, that was also an Elseworld. That's not canon. And I like that. I like that people dare to do differently.
Thank you.
Yeah, because like Elseworld stuff, they did one where Batman was a vampire.
That's right. You're naming some things that like locked away back here into my mind. I'm like, Wait, that's right. They did do that.
So I find that kind of stuff fascinating. Just like, and they did him versus Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And
I think he's even actually gone like against Predator or
yeah,
Aliens
he's fought
or
everybody.
Like
he fought Judge Dredd as well.
I do
Awesome.
not remember that one.
Yeah, that's great. They both square off, and Dredd's got that Clint Eastwood stare.
The big jaw.
Land the law. I loved Carl Urban. Judge Dredd.
Well, it's really cool though to have somebody that clearly is a fan of this well before you even landed this voice.
Yeah, I was so lucky that I didn't have to cram. Like, who's the Joker?
Well, it's really cool then to have somebody that is a fan of this, that kind of gets what we're going for and likes it. Because you're right, internet is typically not the biggest fan of change at times,
no.
And so it is really nice, and it has been really nice to see the fans' reactions to this, because there's been a lot of people, from fans to journalists alike, that have dug this whole kind of different take and different ways that we're taking it, and then on top of that, not just a different take, but allowing the player to then have their say in how things change and whatnot.
I really, the best feeling for me is when people say, yeah, we're really liking what you guys are doing, and that is such a great feeling, because I have so much respect for these characters in the world and the fan base.
Yeah.
That, you do want to, on the one hand, you want to please them, but you also want to try to do your own thing. So it's really, it's hard to get that balance, because
it is a fine line.
It's a fine line, but the best thing is when they say, it's cool, it's different and exciting. So
we'll go along on this ride with you.
Yeah.
I come to work. I'm supposed to be. He really wants me to stay here, doesn't he?